Hi, welcome to the sports desk where you can't see our face because Jack screwed up the middle logo and I forgot to change my name from Splash's second screen share. Hi there, I'm Ryan, or you can call me Splash, or I guess whatever the heck you want. And I'm joined with my friend Jack. How's it going, Jack?
Great. You can find our socials below. We forgot the script again, but there you
Well,
go.
I just didn't feel like pulling it up today. I've had a pretty I don't want to say lousy, but a pretty quiet day. I didn't have class for once, so that's exciting. Now I need to push the thing out on the app, so that's fun. Baseball's back. Hockey's exciting. New things all around. If you checked us out on YouTube or on Facebook, we have a brand new logo. Shout out to Jack. We also have this, but we're still working through the kinks on this. But hey,
Yeah,
it's
we're working
there.
on it.
So thank you for tuning in. Hey, the Sabres won a hockey game. How about
Yes.
that?
I didn't think we were gonna start with this one, but yeah, Buffalo, they went on an 18-game losing streak.
That's pretty sad.
I think they were one away from the record. So I have to like what was it? It was they were like something they had 9 losses in a row
It was
with
really bad.
no
I know
points.
they had one right at the end. There was just like an overtime loss, and they like got points, so it wasn't pointless. But they had a horrendous streak of not being able to win hockey games.
Yeah.
And they went out. They went up, I believe, 3-0 on the Flyers, then blew that, lost in overtime, and then they beat the Rangers last night. So exciting time to be alive if you're
No, they
a
lost to the
Sabres
Rangers
fan.
last night.
Oh, oop, they did.
The game before that they won.
Oh, okay. My apologies. I had the right idea.
You were close.
Oh, oh
I need
well.
to find. I want to find that schedule. It
All
was
right.
bad.
Yeah,
Was
it was
bad.
quite bad. I mean, I've been a fan of a team that lost 26 games in a row, the 2011 Cavs. It's rough. Like genuinely, it's rough. It's hard to wake up in the morning and like, oh, go Cavs today. At least I was like 10, right? Or I guess it
Yeah.
was 9 or 10. So it's like I have more things I care about a little bit more than if the Cavs are winning at the time, at least. So it's like, oh, did I do my homework? Or how am I going to look? What am I wearing to school today? That sort of thing. So it's always tough to be on these really long losing streaks. I know the Ravens had a huge losing streak when I started watching in 07. It was like 9 games in a row. And Buffalo, no stranger to losing this season. They are, I think, with their loss to the Rangers last night, they clinched the under on their over-under win tally for the season. That is
Oh, there you
impressive
go.
with 20 games left. That is,
20 games left. You already hit the under. That's
yeah, that would be the equivalent of the Dodgers winning like 80% of the games for 6 months and doing it to the end of August. So I do feel bad for Buffalo fans, kind of, not really, but Sabres fans at least, Bills fans and whatever. But Sabres fans, yes, absolutely.
Bills fan. If you're a fan of both teams, you're fine.
Yeah,
Because at least you have the Bills. So that's something, I guess. I guess you're half fine and not half pissed.
it could be
I
worse.
would be for sure.
You could be a Ravens, Braves, Cavs, and Red Wings fan. It happens. It happens. So the Sabres won. That's something that's new. Our logo is new. At least the thumbnail is new. We're working on the logo. Excited
We'll
to
get.
break out the new logo. I get a new vaccine tomorrow, so that's exciting. Bear down, beat COVID.
Nice.
Yes.
I got a pin somewhere.
Nice. So pro days have been going around. I had tons and tons of clips from the other day with Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Kellen Mond, who thought he should get some love even though he's not actually that good at quarterback. So who's like a big riser? Who have you seen like their name pop up a bunch recently? Like who are you excited to, when you get into watching film or watching highlights, who are you excited to see?
I feel like Fields and Wilson would be the obvious two. My mic is making weird noises, jeez. Those would be the obvious two, though, but they just look so good. Like, it almost sort of feels like 2018. What was it? The year that Baker and Wilson, or not Wilson, Darnold and Rosen all came up, and like you weren't really sure who was going to go first overall. There was kind of like it felt like it didn't really feel like up until the last day that I was like, okay, the Browns are taking Baker first overall. And now this is kind of where we're at. Not in the first overall pick because we obviously know the Jags are going to take Trevor Lawrence. This is a really, like, we've said this time and time again on the show, and I feel like saying it again just feels like a broken record, but it's kind of true that, like, you can take either of these guys, and it doesn't really feel like you're taking an L with either of them. You can pick Fields, you can pick Wilson, and whoever misses out on one and gets the other, it's going to be solid. And the 49ers, by the way, since they traded for pick number 3, I read something that came out lately that said that they were going to be they were looking for a first round pick for Jimmy G. No, first of all, no, Jimmy G is not worth a first round pick. 2, if people claim that they're not, the jury's out, honestly, as to whether or not they trade him, but it seems like as of lately they're leaning towards the direction of he's gonna get traded. And I mean, if they do end up getting Fields or Wilson, Garoppolo's not gonna be the starter, and he's probably gonna be gone before the season starts. So there you go.
I do think San Francisco would lean Fields. I think the Jets are leaning Wilson.
Yeah.
Of course, it may not matter in a couple weeks, and obviously my opinion isn't Joe Douglas's opinion or John Lynch's opinion, but San Francisco, of course, moved earth, wind, and fire to trade up 9 slots, and they're going to get a quarterback at 3. I'd be shocked if they don't pick up a quarterback. And I do think whoever they draft, regardless if it's Fields, Wilson, or even Trey Lance, I don't think they go Lance, but even if it's Trey Lance, I think they're going to be a future like star quarterback. Like Alex said, the league is over if Fields goes to San Francisco. Absolutely. I would have them as a forefront dynasty over the Chiefs. Just flat out. I would take their future over Kansas City's future. And you know how cynical I am about Kansas City and how I thought they won, or I thought they were going to win 12 Super Bowls with Mahomes. But do you have a loaded? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. They have San Francisco is a loaded roster. Like we talk about loaded rosters like Baltimore, New Orleans, Minnesota, whatever. San Francisco could get a superstar quarterback. You have that system offensively. You have George Kittle, who's probably the best tight end.
You have Kyle Shanahan as your coach. You just mentioned George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Raheem Mostert, Kyle Juszczyk. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah,
Juszczyk, we'll say. Defensively, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, I think is still there.
Kinlaw, the first round pick last year. All Pro Fred Warner.
Yeah, Fred Warner. They might lose. I think Sherman's gone.
I don't think Sherman signed with anyone else, but I doubt he's going to be back. But
I don't think he's coming back, but he's a free agent at this point.
Either. But San Francisco is a
as much as I hate on them because Rams, they look really good right now for the future. They look built. The NFC West, man.
So I'll just address this by Alec. One, tune into Saturday night show with Raj and I. We'll break down the secondary and break down what the 49ers are going to do in the draft, what they're going to do for the rest of free agency. But the secondary does need help, but here's the kicker. They have a second-round pick. You can get a good corner there. You can get a good safety there. And they brought back a lot of the pieces. So they're not necessarily in the market for J.C. Horn or Tan Farley like they had been when they were picking, 12? But now you can throw your hat in. Maybe Greg Newsome falls. I really like his film. You have Eric Stokes, who probably goes really high because he had that rapid 40. You can get cornerback and safety talent. Like you and I both, or Alec and I have talked about Morig a lot from TCU. So he probably goes a little higher, but you're getting whatever safety you like at 42, I believe San Francisco has, maybe a little lower. But you get whoever you want at safety or corner, and you can just go from there, and you're going to get a very talented player, maybe arguably a first-round talent in the middle of the second round, just because there's going to be so many quarterbacks, so many wide receivers that go, and like requisite defensive edge rushers, right? So this is a year that it's fairly weak edge class. I like the middle guys, but I don't think there's like a top 20 guy in the edge group. So you're talking, if you're going edge in the first round, you're probably reaching. That means you're pushing corners and safeties back spots. So you're saying, say Trevon Moehrig is a top 20 to 25 player. He might slip to the top of the second round. And then after him, you have his teammate Ardarius Washington. He could be a guy that San Francisco looks at, maybe a tad rich at 42, but or I forget what pick they have. But there are a lot of guys that San Francisco can get day 2 that can be difference makers on day 1, essentially.
Yeah. So this is a loaded draft coming up, and so a lot of teams I feel like are going to get the help that they need. Not just the 49ers, but I mean they're definitely they're an interesting point of conversation right now because of this whole trade thing that happened.
Absolutely. It's kind of, I talked to Raj about it. I think it's a win-win-win trade for Philly, Miami, and San Francisco. But of course, San Francisco is going to be getting a quarterback, and quarterbacks, even nowadays, are 50-50.
Of the 3 teams, I think the 49ers are in the best position to succeed immediately. Miami's a close second. Philly, obviously, we already know that they're a long way away still.
Philly is kind of punting, but they could have 3 first-round picks next year. And I think we talked about it on last week's show that if Hurts works, you have 3 first-round picks to surround your star quarterback. If Hurts doesn't work, you have 3 first-round picks to either get your star quarterback or trade up and get one. And we haven't really seen a ton out of like Rattler and Sam Howell. They're the top quarterbacks in next year's class. Obviously, there's guys that fluctuate throughout the year. Joe Burrow was supposed to be a 6th-round guy, or even undrafted in some cases. But he went number 1. Zach Wilson, I'd never heard of him, and then he like lights up the Mountain West as well. Mountain West. They are BYU's an independent, but they play a lot of Mountain West teams. I never heard of Wilson. Now he's probably going 2 to the Jets, and if he doesn't go 2 to the Jets, he's going 3 to San Francisco, and he doesn't go 3 to San Francisco. I don't know what the heck happened.
I don't know what those 2 teams are doing not taking him.
No. Although one of my coworkers had a pretty funny mock today. It was Jags take Fields, Jets take Wilson, 49ers take Najee Harris.
What?
Atlanta takes Jamar Chase. Let me see. Bengals take – who did they take? Oh, my goodness. Bengals – oh, then number 6 wow, I need to pull it up. But the Bengals take someone that's not Penny Sewell. The Miami Dolphins take Drew Brees.
What? What? Where did that come from? What? That's the weirdest mock I've ever heard.
Okay,
Drew Brees.
Oh, are you ready for this? Guess who the Lions took in that draft?
Jared Goff?
Yes, they did.
Oh, my God. That's funny.
It was supposed to be like an April Fool's draft. It made me laugh. I thought it was hilarious. Oh my goodness! I forget who the Ravens took. Oh, the Ravens took Jamie Newman because Lamar is a running back.
Who'd the Rams take, or is this just a one round?
Yeah, it was just 1 round mock.
Okay.
I guess you got rid of Jared Goff, so that counts.
That works.
Yeah.
Good enough for me.
No
John
one tried
Wolford
to steal
would be the
Aaron
guy in that
Donald
game.
from you. Hey, both the Patriots and the Bucks drafted Tom Brady.
Fun.
Boy. Yeah, that was some good humor. Although I wasn't home, so I didn't get to 1, do any April Fool's Day pranks. 2, didn't get to be pranked by anything. So it's kind of, I think COVID really killed the holiday.
Yeah, it mostly just reduced everything to saying something online like, "Hey, I'm doing this." Just kidding. April Fool's, lol, and then
right, like the people that said the Mets and Nationals game would be postponed.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that actually happened.
It's funny how April Fool's Day is like the one day that like everybody actually tries to look and see if stuff's for real on the internet instead of just believing everything they read immediately.
Right. So like not Jamie Newman, Roy Williams retired yesterday, and it's like, okay, that feels like April Fool's. And then he's like, no, I'm actually retiring. It's like, wow, a legend of the game. Spent 25 years at North Carolina, spent dozens of years with Kansas, and he's gone. And that kind of that's scary.
Yeah, you're basically right though, because without all the in-person stuff, it made a lot of the April Fool's stuff harder. So,
well,
suckish, but that's how COVID works.
Do you want to know what I loved about opening day?
What did you love about opening day?
This. And
yeah, the shame tour is not going to be ending anytime soon. Now that fans are actually allowed
to win, so it's 8-1, I think.
That's sus.
Oh man!
Speaking of our boy Correa, he got hit by a pitch in that game, and got booed. Or not, he didn't get booed. He got booed when he walked up, obviously. Mm-hmm. Then he got hit. The fans cheered. I'll stop short of saying that I'm happy he got hit because, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, regardless of whether the dude's a douche or not.
I can take it from now.
And then after that was the cheater chance. So that's the good part.
Here's the thing. I understand baseball has unwritten rules. I've watched the darn sport for 15 years now. I get it. I get Tatis gets thrown out when he hits a grand slam up 7 runs. I get it. I get Acuna gets thrown out when he pimps a home run. I get it. I get all those things. Do these pitchers realize they are letting the Astros have extra men on base? Do you realize that? Do you realize that when Correa, Bregman, Alvarez, Tucker, whoever comes up, is more likely to drive in runs because your moronic pitchers or their coaches are like, yeah, let's hit the Astros.
Let's hit this guy because we want to get revenge for this thing.
Are you kidding me? This is, I think, the dumbest thing in sports.
Everything that's happening outside of them getting hit by pitches, I think, is fine. Keep booing them. Keep chanting cheater. That's fine with me because my team got screwed by it. So I'm more than happy with the chants and stuff like that. That's fine. But like I said, I'll stop short of saying guys should get hit by pitches because, one, that's just wrong. You're hurting someone possibly by doing that. And then 2, you're letting them advance. You're giving them free base runners, like you said.
Right.
So it's kind of a mess.
I've gotten crap for being overly analytical and looking at expected data over actual data, especially in the NFL. When I say dropped interceptions matter, and they're like, "Oh, he didn't catch it; it shouldn't matter." Yes, it should.
Yes, it should.
But if you're playing the Astros already have a very good lineup. You already have Gurriel, Bregman, Correa, Altuve, the not Springer because it's Miles Straw, who's a really weird, really quirky base. He's a baseball guy through and through. Brantley, Alvarez, Reddick. This is a very talented team. Why are you letting them get free base runners? Why? It'd be different. It'd be different if every time you plunked one of their guys, there's a 10-run game. Okay, sure, whatever. Although if I was a starting pitcher, I would not want a hit by pitch on my record because that's an earned run, and I don't want earned runs. And if your goal is to win games, you should not be hitting Astros. If your goal is to lose games, sure, hit as many Astros as you want. You're going to look goofy doing it. You're going to catch the L doing it, but hey. Who am I to judge? If you want to lose baseball games, lose baseball games. But I think it's the stupidest thing in sports that you are – I get it that they cheated. I get it. I totally get it. Why are you taking it out on them in a way that helps them?
Yeah.
Right? Boo them, block them on social media, troll –
Like I said, do everything the fans have been doing. Boo them. Let that be the extent of it. Let the booing and the cheater chants and with all that other stuff happening. Because the way you're doing it in the game is letting them win the game. Mm-hmm. So, as suckish of a situation as it is, it's don't help them.
Right. They don't need any help. You saw what they did when they got help. They don't need help. They're good players. I get it with the whole scandal, but they produced on the road. They won 3 World Series.
And then even without when they were finally caught, when they finally got caught, and then 2020 happened, they still made it to the ALCS. So
that was partially due to that was very much due to the expanded playoffs. But they probably make the playoffs over a larger season because they wouldn't have been playing the Dodgers a bunch of times, or the Padres a bunch of times, or the A's a bunch of times, and you'd have had more games against the Tigers, the Royals, the Indians, the National League Central, which is a hot mess. Even yesterday, weird division. But Dodgers fans, I like what you did. I like what I just said his name a second ago. Kelly.
Joe Kelly.
I liked what Kelly did. He struck the guy out and then made fun of him. I love that. I love baseball.
That was beautiful. That was my favorite quote of all time.
Don't hit Correa. Just make him look like an idiot. And then
just make the face at him, and he goes crazy.
Yeah.
All he had to do was.
Here's what Joe Kelly did. 1, he didn't allow a base runner. 2, he kind of reprimanded the Astros. If everyone can do that, that's perfect. But if you're going to reprimand the Astros by plunking one of their batters, I'm sure they'll happily take it. They'll happily take a bruise on their rib, just for a base runner.
It'll suck, but if it helps them win games, I'll take it.
Absolutely. So, I like this. I wish players were a little bit more petty, because this is hilarious to me, and I understand that you want to have a serious repercussion, but your serious repercussion is hurting your ability to win the baseball game. I can't think of an exact example that a hit by pitch won the game or extended a game, but there are probably many walk off by hit by pitches, although those aren't intentional. But imagine extending an inning because you just wanted to plunk a guy, right? So if you just plunk the first guy, strikeout, next guy hits a 2-run home run. Guess what? You just allowed an extra run because you decided to hit him. So I don't know.
And they'll never say it's intentional either, but that's just how it is.
Intentional. I feel like every show I do is air quotes. Oh, it happens. Baseball's back, so that's exciting. Both of our teams lost, which is not exciting. But you know what is exciting? Trey Mancini back in baseball. That's probably the best thing about this week in general. Of course, he missed last year with cancer. He's back playing, I believe, first base for the Orioles. Orioles won today. Shut out Boston, I believe 3-0 up in Fenway. So really impressive, and it was really, really happy to see Trey Mancini back on a baseball diamond. Because cancer sucks.
It does. That's awesome that he came back from cancer. I didn't know that happened actually, so that's cool.
So welcome back to the big leagues, Mr. Trey Mancini. We are very happy to see you. I caught a little bit of the game earlier, so I'm very, very excited. I'm sure all Orioles fans and all baseball fans really should be very happy to see Trey Mancini back. In the big leagues. So awesome to see you there.
That is beautiful stuff. All right. Something else that happened newer with baseball, and not just baseball, but all sports, it's kind of been taking social media by storm a little bit, at least Twitter. I saw it trending. In case you watch some of your favorite teams on the Fox Sports regional networks, you may as well notice they're no longer called that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the era of Bally Sports. It's interesting, for sure. It came out of nowhere. Well, it didn't come out of nowhere. I already knew it was happening. They made the announcement in February, I think. That was weird, though, for sure.
Yeah, it was. I get my MLB subscription, MLB TV subscription, right? I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch some baseball yesterday, yada yada yada, do. And then I see this ugly bottom ticker.
And the ticker was terrible.
So I'm.
Okay.
I think.
Go ahead.
I have the meme for how I feel. I just need to share my screen again. This, man, Fox Sports, you get the Fox Sports South, Fox Sports Southeast, Fox Sports Southwest, Fox Sports Ohio, Fox Sports Detroit. Those are all cool. Bally Sports.
What?
What is the point? Why can't you say it's Fox Sports?
Yeah, it's so the history of this whole thing. I'm gonna look at my laptop here. If I could scroll, that'd be swell. Oh, is my browser frozen? Basically, there was like, let me just open this on my computer. I had it all loaded up and ready to go on my laptop, and then it just decided I don't want to scroll.
Well, here's the bottom ticker. Like, see our bottom ticker? It looks cool. It looks sleek. Look at this monstrosity. Like, what? Why do you have the Valley Sports logo?
I have to watch Kings games on this now. I'm stressed.
I have to watch every baseball game I watch because we don't have ESPN in the door. But every baseball game I have to watch, I have to deal with this. Maybe not every game, but most games.
Here's something I will say though. It looks bad. It does look bad, but it's better than Fox, what they previously had, like for most of their sports. Like what Fox is doing for the NFL, they should be doing for all sports, honestly. Because what they had was text on colored boxes is way too minimalistic for me.
Like, that looks a little bit nicer, but I don't really feel it, dog. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't really feel it either. I'm kind of like it's not. It looks better, but it's like visually a little bit like because like there's more color than what Fox had, but at the same time, the graphics could have been executed a little bit better. So the way this happened was
like I have this picture from the World Series a couple years ago. There we go. I guess this one's from the ALDS, but it serves the point. Oh, it didn't go to that screen. Well, anyways, so this one, like that from Game 7 of the World Series,
yeah,
I really like that. I think that
Fox should still have those.
I like it. I like the World Series in the top. I like the pitcher name, batter name, how they're doing, number of pitches, score, inning, count, number of outs, guys on
and it's all perfectly compressed into that small box, so it barely takes up the bottom of the screen.
Right. Like
I don't know why they ever. This was one of my favorite Fox graphics packages. I don't know why they ever switched off of it. I keep trying to talk about the way that this whole thing happened. What happened was, I'm getting this from Wikipedia, by the way, but Sinclair, which owns Fox, entered an agreement with casino operator Bally's Corporation to acquire the naming rights under a 10-year deal. So that, and like this is basically like Sinclair having to sell the Fox networks and stuff because it was something about when they acquired 21st Century Fox, when Disney acquired 21st Century Fox. So Disney had to sell some stuff, so they were involved. But yeah, it's weird. It's like a gambling company.
Yeah, it is weird for a gambling company to control baseball broadcasts,
hockey, basketball broadcasts. Thankfully, though,
this is those it's fine, but with baseball, like it's illegal for players to bet. Like betting on baseball is like the biggest of all sins. And now you're like, oh yeah, this betting.
But yeah, by the way, our games are now on the network that's literally named after a betting company, a gambling company, I should say. Thankfully, though, I should mention that this only applies to the regional sports networks. So Fox Sports does still exist. Like there's still Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, all that fun stuff. And like regular Fox Sports on like the regular Fox channel that's still there.
There's a show on Fox Sports.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So, if you watched on the regional network, which I did for the Kings and which a lot of people did for some of their other teams, get used to this for at least another 10 years. So weird times for sure that we live in.
Well, you know what else is weird?
Real quick though, I will say, I don't mean to interrupt you, but their theme song is kind of a banger. Every time I hear it, it gets stuck in my head. So
I'll have to tune
That's a
in.
W
I'll
at least.
I'll have to listen to it. So, what else is weird? You're an LA guy. The UCLA Bruins are the underdogs in March Madness. The 11-time champion UCLA Bruins are the 11th seed in March Madness. The Final Four games are tomorrow. The championship game, which is probably going to be Gonzaga Baylor, is Monday afternoon, Monday night. I guess Monday afternoon for you and I, but Monday night for the rest of the country. But March Madness is
Snap.
kind of crazy, when you think about it. And UCLA will play Gonzaga. That's an 11 versus 1 matchup. Baylor, the 1 seed, plays 2 seed Houston, I think at 5 Eastern tomorrow night. Then the Gonzaga game, I believe, is at 8 Eastern, maybe 9 Eastern. I don't know how these games take a year and a half to play out, so it happens.
I will talk about this in a second, Sarah. I'm kind of freaking out because my Twitter feed is blowing up because the Kings and Lakers just announced that they're going to start allowing fans on April 20th. Or April 15th is the Lakers, and then April 20th is the Kings. That's fun. Anyway, though, March Madness. I've said before that I've never really gotten myself invested in college sports or something. This might be the first time I've watched college basketball, March Madness, that I've legitimately been hyped for my local team. This is awesome to see UCLA doing this. Michigan, the way they lost that game was yay, my team won, but I still feel terrible for them because didn't they have one of their guys just missing every shot possible?
Yeah,
at the end?
Mo Wagner's brother, I assume he's a brother of Mo Wagner. I'm blanking on his name. He had a terrible game. If Alec is still in the chat, he can let me know. But he had a horrendous game. Michigan scored 49 points. I get they had this reputation of being a good defensive team. You don't win games scoring 49 points. And you only win games when you score 51 when you hold the other team to 49. And it really bizarre game. Michigan had a couple chances to win it at the buzzer, but they short-armed a layup. He airballed the layup. That's really hard to do. I come on now. I get it, big spot, but airballing the layup, how?
How do you airball a layup?
I don't know. So Michigan kind of blew it there. They did have a shot with, I think, 0.6 of a second left that went to Wagner, and he missed it because what else is he going to do? He missed everything the other day. So a really strange game. And on the bracketology show that is no longer with us, Alec and I said, upsets are great until you get these crappy games later in the tournament. There were only a handful of really nice games in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. UCLA happened to play in 2 of them as an 11 seed, so shout out to them. But the other 13 games of the weekend, or I don't think it's 13 games, the other 10 games of the weekend, it was a lot of not very good basketball. There were the Oral Roberts Arkansas game was very good, but the Elite 8 games were generally pretty not fun. Gonzaga killed USC. Houston.
As expected.
Yeah, Houston really handled Oregon State. That was only entertaining their last 2 or 3 minutes. And then Baylor was just playing with their food a little bit against Arkansas. That, I turned the game on. I started watching the game. Baylor scored the first 7 points. It's Arkansas is not going to get it back within 7 the rest of the way. Hey, if they get it to 6, okay, whatever. That's just a math thing. But this game isn't going to feel close, and it wasn't close the rest of the way. So shout out to Baylor there, I guess. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to the UCLA Bruins, and shout out to the still undefeated Gonzaga Bulldogs. They have the shot to be the first team in 45 years to finish the season unbeaten and win the title. Last team was the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers. Do you think Gonzaga, beats UCLA tomorrow night and then moves on and beats Baylor?
Tonight?
I think it's tomorrow night. The women's Final Four is tonight and Sunday.
Shout out to Arizona.
No, tomorrow's the men's Final Four. Tonight's the women's Final Four. So shout out to the Arizona women. They made their first Final Four as a 3 seed, which is pretty rare for the women. So congratulations. If I've ever seen you on campus, know that I'm clapping for you.
I mean, UCLA they've looked really good. But this is obviously going to be their biggest I'm trying to say biggest test, and I said biggest toughest. So words.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. I think that Gonzaga wins but I hope that UCLA can keep it a little bit close.
Right.
I just heard
Yeah.
myself. What the heck?
See,
was weird.
I don't think it's going to be super close. I hate to say that, but Gonzaga's a really good team.
Yeah,
I don't
they
want to
are.
say UCLA is a bad team because they're not. I know that. And I said kind of hyped them up before the tournament and said if there's an 11 seed that goes deep, I thought it was going to be Drake, but then my second choice was UCLA, and I also liked Syracuse. Utah State had no business being anywhere close to the tournament, but whatever. So UCLA, incredibly talented team, and I said whoever won the Michigan State UCLA game would be BYU, would give Texas a challenge. They didn't end up playing Texas. It would give Alabama a challenge if they got there. And guess what? UCLA did all those things except they beat Abilene Christian, not Texas. So hey, there's that.
There you go. By the way, I know we haven't. This is kind of the first time we've really talked too much about March Madness on the show, but I think we should give one final farewell shout out to Oral Roberts for being not for going on that incredible 15 seed run they had, and then being 2 points away from what was it, the Elite Eight?
Yep, they had Max Asmus, leading scorer in the country, darling of the tournament. Had a shot to win the game. They're down 2, took a 3, had a shot to win the game, and it just rimmed out. And that might have been his final game for Oral Roberts. He's getting a little bit of draft buzz now. I do hope he goes back and we have another magical run next year to talk about. But if he goes to the NBA, I wish him the best of luck.
There you go.
That was a little depressing. Let's talk about something more exciting. Like, what else is exciting? Penny Sewell is super athletic. There's that. I think he boasts like a 5 flat 40-yard dash, which he's 330 pounds. That's insane. He is. Oh boy! I hope the Bengals don't draft him. Like
they're probably going to draft him.
I guess I don't know who I want them to draft because he ran a 5.09 40-yard dash. That is spicy. That is spicy. He is a large human being running very fast. He is incredibly athletic. Yeah, he has short arms. Joe Thomas had short arms, and he's the greatest tackle I've ever seen live. I mean, I'm sure you would say Orlando Pace. He's a little bit ahead of your time, or John Ogden for me.
Yeah, I think he's before my time. Yeah, Orlando Pace.
So you got Ogden, Munoz, Pace, but like Joe Thomas in my lifetime, in my 15 years of watching the NFL, Joe Thomas is the best tackle I've seen, and he had short arms too. When he came out of Wisconsin, people are like, "You have short arms," and he's like, "You don't know how to play football. I do." And he's a 6-time All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler, 9-time Pro Bowler, something like that. Absolutely incredible player and a shoo-in for Canton in a couple of years. So I don't know. I don't know how much I buy short arms because, come on now, he's fine. I don't know how much I buy he only played in the Pac-12. He was still dominating everybody. Come on now.
Yeah.
All right, so I can pull up some hot takes. We can roll through those. That's exciting. Oh, they need to find the graphic first. Oh no, I wasn't prepared today. That's okay. I was kind of prepared, but kind of not prepared at the same time.
I'm just hyped right now that I found out that we're finally about to get fans at games in Los Angeles. And also, I'm very glad that they made this announcement today, because had they made it yesterday, April Fool's joke, you never know. So
yeah, absolutely.
This is awesome. I don't know what the guidelines are. I'll have to see. I would imagine it's. I don't know. I need to find the release from LA County Public Health.
Let me find the graphic.
We're searching for things live.
This is great. Okay. Did Henry send it to me? Did you send it to me, or did Henry send it to me?
I think he sent it to us in the group chat.
Oh, okay, that's a good catch. There we go. Okay, I found it. All right, so we got some spicy hot takes this week. Last week we only had 2 or 3. This week we're coming on strong with some hot takes. As soon as I get this, if I could click
the hot take meter.
Yeah, as soon as we get the legend itself, the hot take meter back on the show, which I will quickly throw in the tab or the folder that I have on my laptop. But I need a new laptop. Frankie, send me a new laptop.
Pay for it and everything.
Yeah, just the U Stadium dollar. So, do you have any hot takes, Jack?
Do I have a hot take? I have to think about that for a second. Here's my hot take. At least 4 teams in the NFL in 2021 will wear new throwback uniforms that involve a helmet color change.
Okay.
Because as we know, the NFL is getting rid of their rule where players only have to wear one helmet shell the whole year. It's the reason why the Rams throwback uniforms got a little bit ruined, I would say, because you have the royal blue all over the place, but then the helmets are navy blue, and it just looks weird.
I think the Bengals would be a team that helps with that, right?
I think so. The Bucks can finally wear their creamsicles again, by the way. I should mention that.
Also, I'll just throw up the graphic. I think that's maybe a bell pepper take. I think a lot of teams will be experimenting this year with the different helmet shells. This is something that
we'll see.
The Chargers and Rams can do. The Bengals can do. And then outside of that, that's already 3, right? So you're talking just maybe 1 or 2 more teams, and you're already at your 4.
That's fair. I guess maybe 6 is more of a spicier take or 8 even, because it's just because uniform changes or stuff like that happen so rarely. The Rams, I know, are already getting a new one this year. I'm predicting it's going to be this, but the yellow and the blue switch. So, it'll be a primarily yellow, but then, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about an all yellow uniform.
I don't know how they used to wear one. That's the one they wore when they beat the Chiefs on that Monday night game.
Oh, that's right. I did like those. Yeah,
it's tough to think about. They never. All I know is that it's coming for this coming season. I don't know if it's a throwback or if it's an alternate or what it is. Could be something else entirely. Watch them do like a full gradient uniform. I would cringe so hard. If they did that.
All right, we got some hot takes. It's a lot of NFC West stuff today, so you're gonna get to defend your Rams. Number 1, this is from Nate Williams on the U Stadium map. Make sure you download it if you haven't already. The Seahawks should start rebuilding ASAP.
They kind of made some upgrades, though, I would say, in the offseason.
That's true.
Because they brought in Shane Waldron, or was it Shane Waldron? Yeah. The OC for the Rams. I don't know why I forgot his name, but that guy. They brought him in. And then you have they brought in Gerald Everett. That's good. That's okay depth as a tight end. Gabe Jackson. That's a signing I love for their O-line. They're finally getting Russ the O-line help he needs. It kind of feels like they're kind of fortifying themselves a little bit more now, and they just locked up Tyler Lockett to a 4-year extension.
Right.
I don't think you need to start rebuilding right away. Maybe in a year or two, because overall the core of the team is still there.
Mm-hmm. Like so I would class is still cooking. Russ and Wagner.
Yeah. So I would put this at Serrano. Because I think they could still use some upgrades in a little bit of places, but do they have to rebuild ASAP? No. Do they? In a year or two, if they have the same core mostly, and they're still not breaking through, it seems like they can never get out of the first round or 2 of the playoffs. If you still can't, then you should rebuild. But if not, right now, as where things stand with Seattle, I think keep going for another year or two, keep filling in the holes, see where you are then.
And I think this is one of the weird things. In 2018, I would describe, like 2018 and 2019, I think the Seahawks were a little bit better than they finished in the playoffs.
Sure.
Of course, in 2018, they had a really good game with Dallas that if they have a kicker, they might win that game, but they didn't have a kicker. So they had to go for two late and try a punter version of an onside kick with Michael Dixon, all pro that year, Michael Dixon. Then 2019, they probably are a better team than Green Bay. They just didn't have a running back, and Pete Carroll insisted on running the football with Robert Turbin and Marshawn Lynch. This is 2019. This is January 2020, Pete Carroll. This isn't 2014. So I don't know what the heck he was thinking. I've said several times that if John Harbaugh and Pete Carroll just swapped jobs for a day, the Ravens kill the Titans and the Seahawks kill the Packers, because Green Bay couldn't stop Russ, and the Titans couldn't stop the Baltimore ground attack, but Baltimore just kept throwing the football. So I would probably lean jalapeno here. I think the Seahawks, while I lowered them in my power rankings, and while I don't necessarily love everything they've done, you still have Russell Wilson, who's a top 5 quarterback, and that's positioned enough to keep trying to win football games. Now, If you trade Russ, absolutely, you start the rebuilding process. Yeah. But I don't think you trade Russ.
I don't think they need to trade Russ.
No, not at all.
Because it seems like most of Russ's unhappiness comes from the fact that his offensive line hasn't really been protecting him that well. Mm-hmm. And this offseason, they're making some changes to that offensive line. And like I said, I love the Gabe Jackson signing. So I think, like I said, you don't need to fully hit the rebuild button yet. Keep trying, keep filling in the holes, see where you are in a year or two. And if you have the same core of your team by then, you still can't really win Super Bowls or at least get some good playoff success, then it's time to hit the rebuild button.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to move into hot take numero dos today. This is another NFC West one. This is from Nick L. Shout out to my boy. Hot take. That's what we asked for. Seattle finishes the season with a top 5 pick. What would have been a top 5 pick?
It has a down vote. That's how you know it's a hot take.
Yeah.
Carolina Reaper.
Yeah, I'd say so. They don't lose that many games. Like the only logic would be like Russ gets hurt, but Russ has never gotten hurt. So I don't know. I don't like to assume.
If anything, Russ hurts others. If anything, Russ hurt, because like I've seen him play against the Rams a lot, obviously because he's in the division, but in 2 games against the Rams that I remember specifically, week 5, 2019, Clay Matthews destroys Russell Wilson at one point in the game. I was incredibly salty about that because it was ruled roughing the passer when Russ was already across the line of scrimmage and running the football.
We love the Russ roughing the passer rules.
And not only did that happen, and did it lead to the Seahawks scoring the points that eventually won them the game, but Clay Matthews also hurt his jaw and was out. So, and then I remember 2020. Aaron Donald got hurt. I don't know. I don't remember specifically if it was sacking Russell Wilson or not, but he got hurt in that playoff game this past year. So, if anything, Russ hurts other people. Also, Jamal Adams hurts John Wolford, so that was fun.
It happens, Every year there's something goofy that goes on. So, it happens. We're going to move on to hot take numero tres today. Tixa says Kyle Pitts will retire the top 3 tight end of all time. This got 3 upvotes. I like this a lot. I think if Pitts goes to the right team, and I'm going to use the Bengals as an example. Obviously, I think the Bengals should draft Penei Sewell, but I'll give you the Bengals example. If he ends with, say, Joe Burrow, right? And you get Joe Burrow and Kyle Pitts, move over Brady and Gronk.
If you get Joe Burrow, words. God, I can't say Burrow. Joe Burrow and Kyle Pitts together, that team is gonna challenge the Chiefs for being the new dynasty. Like,
okay, I don't know about that.
that's more of a hot take, I guess.
That's a hot take. I don't think saying Pitts will retire as the top 3 tight end of all time is going to be like a huge hot take.
That's a little hard to do.
Yeah, because right now I would say the top. Right now, you're going for the spot that's not Gronk, and you're not Kit, or not. Sorry, not Kel, or freaking
Kittle,
Tony
Kelsey,
Gonzalez.
Gronk.
So you're telling me that Kyle Pitts has to be better than George Kittle and Travis Kelce. Here's my thought to that. Most tight ends. Here's my deep analysis here. Take George Kittle. His first year, he wasn't super productive. The last 2 years, he's been hyper productive at a level that no tight end's ever been. Here's the thing. He missed the first season. He missed half of his third. Or he didn't miss the first season. But tight ends, they take time to acclimate. They take time to learn how to block. They take time to do this. They take time to do that. Kyle Pitts could be the rare guy that comes out and puts up 1,000 yards as a rookie, right? Kittle had 515 yards, 2 touchdowns as a rookie, and he missed 8 games last year, missed 2 games in 2014. Unbelievable player, don't get me wrong, but he's missing about a year and a half out of production, and just in his first 4 years. Hopefully Kyle Pitts says, okay, I'm going to give you 4 years of production. Guess how many games, Travis Kelce played in as a rookie?
How many games he played in?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer.
1. He played in 1 game as a rookie, so they essentially punted his age 24 season. He came to the league at his age 24 season. Kyle Pitts has he's going, by the time he finishes his first game, he will have more yards than Travis Kelce did at that point. Travis Kelce didn't have a 1,000-yard season until his age 27 season. I understand that Kelce is a dominant force at tight end. I get that he has 5 1,000-yard seasons, but he didn't start doing that until age 27. He had a couple 800-yard seasons in 14 and 15. But if Pitts starts as hot as I think he will be, I don't think it's going to be a hot take to say that Pitts retires as a better receiver or better tight end than Kelce or Kittle. I'm not saying that he's better right now, but he is on a trajectory that I think is very, very likely that he ends up with more yards, more touchdowns, more everything, more accolades as a tight end. Now, granted, he's going to have to compete with Kittle and Kelce moving forward, and then you have Waller and Hawkinson and Fant and Andrews and Goddard, and you have lots of talented tight ends. Kyle Pitts is more than a tight end. He's like a lot of these guys, if they try to play wide receiver, it's not the best thing. Kyle Pitts could play wide receiver in the NFL and be a top, I think, 30 guy from the jump. Like, he's a better wide receiver prospect than Jamar Chase is. Jamar Chase is otherworldly. He's a better wide receiver prospect than Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith just won the Heisman. He's a better wide receiver prospect than Jalen Waddle. And Jalen Waddle was the number 1 receiver over Devontae Smith this season, or just earlier this season. And Kyle Pitts is absolutely ridiculous. He is right there with Sewell as number 1 on my draft board. Sewell had an unbelievable workout today, so it's like it's hard to put him over Sewell. But
this is going to be a fun draft. This really is.
This is a milk take. If I would be surprised if he doesn't finish as like an all-time great tight end. I fully expect in 20 years that we're talking about Kyle Pitts going to Kington. There's my hot take. Folks. Yeah, Kyle Pitts, future Hall of Famer. I think, okay, let me back that up. Kyle Pitts, when he retires, will have the most yards, touchdowns, and catches. I don't know about that because Witten has a lot. Witten throws a wrench into that. And Tony, okay. You know what? Kyle Pitts will retire with the season records for touchdowns and yards by tight end, and will retire with the yards per game record and touchdowns per game record by a tight end.
All right, then.
Yeah, I don't know if he matches the longevity of Tony Gonzalez or Jason Witten, but I think on a game-to-game basis, you're going to have few players that are better than Kyle Pitts ever.
He is that dude.
Yeah, he is that dude. If he wasn't a tight end, he would be a surefire number 3 pick. I don't know. It just sucks that he's not a quarterback in this loaded draft class.
Can he throw?
Maybe.
That would be interesting if he could throw, because I know guys like
Trey Burton has a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know. So here we go. This is from Holden. At Splash, make your pick in the draft. Little did he know I'd actually already submitted my pick. I took Levi Onwuzurike for the Lions. Anyways, this is from at Goats. The Cardinals will finish atop of the NFC West. I'm going to jump to Habanero here. What are your thoughts?
Lean in real close to the mic here. Carolina Reaper. This is having a bit of an interruption. Hold on. This is there's no way in hell that this team finishes on top of the NFC West. I mean,
I tend to agree. I mean, I guess you can argue Kyler could be the best quarterback, and that helps.
That's not even true. Kyler is not.
Okay, you could no. I could see a world that Kyler is the best quarterback this year. I'm not saying he is. I have him third, right? But behind
it would be hard though. It would be really hard.
I could see the jump. I see the talent in Kyler. You know, the pure arm talent. If he could have a 4,000 yard passing, 1,000 yard rushing season.
And then his number one target's D Hop. So like.
Yeah, I mean, and I think defensively they're passable.
You know what? I made a big show of leaning into my mic and saying Carolina Reaper. I'm gonna go down to Ghost Pepper here because there's a slim chance with guys that they have like Kyler, like D Hop, like JJ Watt coming in now as well. Losing Patrick. Yeah, true. Losing Patrick Peterson kind of sucks.
But
I don't think it'll
addition by subtraction.
Yeah. That's fair. I don't think, like I was going to say, I don't think it's going to matter too much, but it's just that you're competing with teams like the Rams offense, who is immediately being called better just by getting Stafford. Mm-hmm. You have the Seahawks, who are upgrading their O-line, and they have Russ, who's a top 5 QB. You have the 49ers, who they might get Justin Fields, and depending on it, if they stay healthy again, then this is a team, like, it's just the competition for any team, really. You could make a case that all 4 of these teams really have a shot to win this division. It's just that Arizona still seems to have the more, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
potential
prominent issues with their roster. So, like, that's just why I think I would say them and San Francisco are the 2 least likely teams to win the division.
Ooh, I would take San Francisco before I took Seattle.
Yeah, you could kind of flip Seattle and San Francisco, honestly, but right now I
think San Francisco is a guaranteed playoff team. I don't think Seattle is.
Okay.
And obviously, I think the Rams are a guaranteed playoff team.
Yeah. I think the Rams are kind of the only consensus right now that are going to make the playoffs.
All right, so we're gonna slide into our last hot take of the day. The LA Clippers, this is from Respect My 40. The LA Clippers and Boston Celtics will be bounced in the first round of the playoffs this year. I'm gonna say Serrano. I think Boston, yes. I'd be pretty sure they get eliminated early because they'll be a 6 or a 7 seed, and you're playing a much better team. If they get the 5 seed, okay, then you probably play Miami. So I don't think they'd be thrilled to play Miami. Clippers, it just depends on the matchup. You know, I think they'll win the first round. Second round, when you might have to face the Suns, the Jazz, the Lakers, I think you lose there. But I don't know. I'll say Tabasco because I think the Clippers do win their first round matchup.
Okay. The Lakers are about to be the most legendary 8th seed of all time, apparently, according to Twitter.
Over your Kings, right?
I mean, in basketball.
Well,
I'll put it that way. No team better than the Kings, though. That's it's just like the difference between, I would say, is that like no one was really expecting the Kings to win that year because they were looking good towards the end of the season. It's just throughout the regular season the records were terrible. Like they had the goaltending and the defense and everything, but the scoring was very lackluster until they traded for Jeff Carter, and even then they're still going up against Vancouver in the first round. This is the good Canucks.
Winner that year?
Huh? Yeah, President's Trophy winner for Vancouver. This is the good
winner that year, right?
Yes. This is the good Vancouver Canucks. So no one's expecting the Kings to get out of the first round.
They just for the cup. Ooh, yeah, good times. Nice throwback there. Yeah. So, what are your?
I almost went on a whole rant about it, but
Clippers. Yeah, what are your Clippers and Celtics thoughts?
Boston. Yeah, I'm kind of where you are. I think Boston will probably lose in the first round.
I think so
and
as well.
I'm with you with the Clippers. It really just depends on the match. Watch them somehow meet up with the Lakers in round one.
Ooh, that would be a bad matchup. I think the Lakers, healthy Lakers, roll in that series.
Yeah, I think by playoffs the Lakers will be healthy.
All right,
Because
so
that's just their issue right now is that like LeBron got hurt, Anthony Davis got hurt, Andre Drummond, yay! Oh, he gets hurt.
Andre
Right
Drummond
away,
isn't
first
good at
game.
basketball. We can go into that at a later date. But I guess wrapping up the show, it's official: Rams versus Ravens at M&T
Oh
Bank.
yes,
I'm sure Jack is super excited. Last time the
we
teams played.
completely forgot to put this in our thing today.
Yeah,
That the
we totally
NFL
forgot. We're going to tease
finally
it for the next
approved.
show. We should walk through all 16 matchups, see what we like, see what we dislike. Because I gotta head out. Being kicked out.
We're being kicked out live.
Yeah, we are.
I won't be
Right.
on next week, by the way. I don't know if we'll have a show.
Oh,
or...
that's right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a co-host. I'm gonna bring in Jared Goff next week. That's the goal. We're gonna bring in
All
Jared
right.
Goff next week. I'm gonna just have to ask the co-host if he can style his hair like Jared Goff.
All right, but it looks like we're being kicked out live, I guess.
Yeah, we
COVID.
are.
I'm just gonna blame COVID being
blame
us
COVID.
stuck apart. So
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the follow the U Stadium YouTube. Follow the U Stadium Twitter. Follow the U Stadium Instagram. Follow the U Stadium app. If you're not on the app, what the heck are you doing? I'm at Splash. He's at Jack Mitchell. I will see you next week. Actually,
I'll
probably
see you in
tomorrow.
2 weeks.
Jack will take a paid vacation.
Yeah.
Of some sort, I guess.
Paid, I guess we'll call it. All right.
Peace out, ladies.